Welcome to the Coffee with Cheryl Podcast, the podcast for women over 50 who want to live their best life right now. Imagine having the courage to reinvent your life financially, professionally, personally, and spiritually. Join Cheryl and guests as they share practical tips and resources to inspire you to achieve the lifestyle of your dreams. So grab your favorite mug. It's time for Coffee with Cheryl.
Welcome to the Coffee with Cheryl podcast, a podcast for women over 50 who want to live their best life right now. I am your host, Cheryl Garrison. I am an entrepreneur. I'm an author. I'm passionate for everything that deals with women over 50. And I'm so excited to be starting the second season of Coffee with Cheryl. And I'm glad that you joined me last season. I'm looking forward to you being with me throughout this new season. And we are actually starting a series of interviews with powerful women who have reinvented their lives and are living their best life right now after 50. And today I have with me Teresia Wlliams, who is the CEO of SumFoods, and you will meet her in just a minute. But like always, we start with our quote. And we start with our cup of coffee. So I hope you have your coffee and you will join me today with Coffee with Cheryl. So let's start with our quote. The quote for today, and I always read them so I get them correct. Your power to choose the direction of your life allows you to reinvent yourself, to change your future, and to powerfully influence the rest of creation. Imagine to be able to do something that influences the rest of creation. And as women, that is what we innately do. So reinventing ourselves is just a natural progression. So welcome, Teresa. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Good.
for having me.
I'm glad to have you as my guest, my first guest in this podcast. And I'm excited to be able to share with our audience the wonderful things that you are doing as CEO of SumFoods, which is a distributor of sugar-free and low-carb foods and sweeteners. So I'm going to let you introduce yourself to us and tell us what you've been up to.
What have I been up to? Well, we've been, moving the company around and changing locations in the last 30 days. So that's been a big, exciting kind of thing and journey for us in an effort to, sort of save the business and cut costs in this economy. So we had to, make moves and make adjustments. And that's kind of that's the gist of what I've been doing as of late, the last 30 days.
What about SumFoods and how we got started, the passion behind uh, stepping out and making that to be an entrepreneur and to bring these products to market.
The journey to do that, I'm gonna put my glasses on because so I don't squint, just constantly squint. The journey to doing that was it started with me struggling with my own health and my weight. An over nearly 30-year struggle, and discovering that I was actually insulin resistance and borderline pre-diabetic. And it was like, okay, diabetes runs in my family. It had always, kind of lingered in the back of my mind. Am I going to get it? Am I, and trying to avoid
Mhm.
it. And I turned 50. I was turning 50 and I wanted to be fabulous at 50. And went to the gym, injured myself, and knew exercise wasn't going to be the pathway for me to be able to do this. And everything kind of clicked. I went back to school, give myself an education in nutrition to try and find out what was going on with me and to solve my problems. And through all of this journey, discovered really that I was addicted to sugar. It's like, oh, so
Like
if I
all of us.
quit, yeah, yeah, I discovered a lot of us are.
Okay.
And it's like, if I quit that, that will affect this. Well, let's just eliminate that. But it wasn't so easy. And so that's when I started my company because um, I had all the diabetics in my family. I made the diabetic desserts. I knew I didn't want to eat them. I mean, although they were superbly made and crafted, the sweeteners didn't taste good. So the
Yeah.
diabetics didn't want to eat them, and neither did the rest of the family. So my idea was that somebody oughta, and I said, wait a minute. If I said the next time I have one of those somebody oughta moments, that means me. And somebody oughta make a sweetener, make something that's palate pleasing, that tastes good, that makes it easy to quit sugar so that you don't know that it's not sugar. I said, that's me. So I took on that challenge, and that's what I did.
Wow, that is amazing. And I know you don't want to give any secrets away about, proprietary secrets, but how did you go about finding the solution? Did you work with labs or other nutritionists, or was it just research and finding your way to your product?
It was research and finding my way. I mean, first off, I was to try and find a carrier for stevia, which is five, it's hundreds times sweeter than sugar, but
Right.
it's bitter. And so I've been working with stevia for years and years. In fact, I tried to get my dad was like, look, Dad, you need to plant this down here on the farm. We need to start, growing crops and crops of stevia. But I'd worked with it for a number of years. And I've also worked with fermentation for a number of years, knowing how to ferment and make
Mhm.
different types of ferments and craft. And so I just spent my time and then, partnered up with, bigger labs and came up with something that's
Wow, that is
proprietary and
yeah,
wonderful.
so amazing. I personally can't wait to get some of your products because my husband and I are always looking to eliminate as much sugar because we know that as Americans, we're all addicted to sugar. And so we try not to buy, we buy cakes and all that stuff and have it in the home.
Right.
And also using, it's but aspartame is not good for you. So we're just always looking for ways to make food taste better. So I'm definitely going to try your product. Why don't you tell us a little bit about some of your products?
Well, okay, so again, we make sweeteners and dessert mixes, and right now, the only products that we have on the market, we do have chocolate chips, but we have the sweeteners, and so the base is allulose, and this is just original allulose, and this is what I refer to them always by the pouch color, so this is the blue
Okay.
pouch, and
Okay.
I see it's trying to focus there, but this is the original, and that's
Right.
allulose. And then what is our specialty and what makes us stand out is this. This is what is from our plus line. So the blue bag is 70% as sweet as sugar. That's what allulose is. Just doesn't want to focus, does it? 70% is sweet as sugar. So that's 70%. This is equally as sweet as sugar. It's 100% as sweet as sugar.
Yeah, we should.
And
Yeah.
and this has our proprietary stevia extracts in there. And this is granular. And then there is the confectioner's version. So this is just your powdered sugar.
Is that for cooking and baking and
Correct. That's
right?
your standard powdered sugar. Make your frostings and glazes with it, and any type of candies and fudges that you want to make. And then the brown sugar version. So we have all of the different versions. They are 0 calorie. They're 0 calorie, and they're no carbs, and they're, delicious, delicious, delicious.
Can't wait to put my order in and have some here in the house. I know you, as a businesswoman, you're not new to being an entrepreneur, so this is not your first rodeo. When I
Right.
read your bio, 27 years of being an entrepreneur. Uh,
Yeah.
a little bit about the journey of being a businesswoman and some of the challenges that, we face and how you maneuvered for 27 years to continue to say, Madam CEO.
It hasn't been easy. I think, well, for me, the main thing was I had this clarion call to stay at home with my children and to bring them up, to raise them. And we did homeschooling in there and just a number of things. So I always just found that to be, the driving factor behind find something that I could do, find something that would work for me to be able to stay at home with my kids and bring in an income and, be able to be at the basketball games, soccer games, football games, cheerleading, whatever it was, the track meets, whatever it was that was going on, to be there. And that was that's what helped me. That's what kept me grounded. That's what kept me going during the tough times. And believe you me, it is tough. It is tough. It's not as easy or as glamorous as it's made out to be. Your schedule is your own,
I
but if you don't work, you don't eat.
I always said as an entrepreneur, every day you wake up at zero, and you have to figure out a way to put some dollars on it.
Yeah.
Um, I was telling you when we were just starting our just getting to know each other. In my experience, it was very similar. I had all these different businesses so that I could be home and raise my kids, and I'm so grateful that they're now all adults, and I can really take all that experience throughout those businesses. So I'm sure you did the exact same thing. Learned a
Yeah.
lot along the way.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I mean, because my last one just graduated and and it was actually, this was the first year, this last year, year and a half has been the first year that I've actually been outside of the home, had a physical location out of the home because I couldn't actually make the product and keep it in my house. Whereas before I was able to do things from my home, but this required licenses that were out that I couldn't get in my home. And
Right.
so I was forced to go out. And then, but at the same time, I have a child that's, preparing to leave the nest. So I think it was good for both she and I, because it allowed us to kind of have that bit of separation
Right.
and to kind of say, okay, this is the way, these are going to be our new path in life, is going to, to kind of help to get that started.
Right. Um, Now, for ladies who are listening today who are just thinking about, I want to do it. I'm not sure if I'm cut out for it. Talk a bit about what do you believe are some of the skills that prepared you, things that you learned along the way that have prepared you to keep a business going because, like you said, it is hard to do.
I think, just your basic household management skills.
Uh-huh.
If you can manage your household, you can manage a business. If you can manage your family, you can manage people. I mean, we have the skills that are necessary to be able to run businesses. A lot of times we just don't have the resources or the finances to run those businesses. Give us the resources, give us the finances, and we can run a business. So I think that a lot of us have those, as women, have those innate skills, and even as even men too, because it's just you deal with people, you deal with your family, you have relationships, we all have budgets that we have to manage,
Uh-huh.
and if you can do those things, then you have the necessary skill set to be able to do it. Now, you may not know the nuances
Right.
of business, but that'll come in time and you'll learn those things. And we all have that, what we know, the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Right.
But in business, it should be a little bit different, because that's what's going to help you get your sale. Do unto them as they would have done unto them.
Right. Exactly. You make it all about them.
Them, yes.
Yeah, if you do keep your customer at the forefront, and that whole thing of integrity, making sure that what you put out there is a good product, And people, once they realize that when they do business with you, it's a positive experience, they come back. And
Yes.
that's the beautiful thing about being an entrepreneur. Now, in
Hmm.
terms of financing, you mentioned, there's always a struggle.
Yeah.
Um, now, do you run your business on yourself, or are you trying to get grants, or how are you trying to finance? Because I understand the food business is a very it's expensive to run. So how are you looking to get financing for your business?
Ooh, girl, that's a loaded question. That is a loaded question. Let me tell you, it is absolutely not, has not been easy. Grants seem to elude me now because I don't know whether I can tell the story well enough, or I don't know what it takes to get one, but I have not gotten one, but I have applied for several. So those seem to elude me. Financing was a different kind of animal because coming on the just on the heels of my business just launching off, COVID came. The
Oh,
banks had a whole different view on giving money.
right.
So anything that was SBA backed was going to those programs that they were facilitating at the time, and they weren't really looking at anything else. And I'm trying to launch out and launch my business. And so those seem to elude me as well, with the exception of, like I said, the EDILs and things like that, what the programs that they were giving at that time. Other financing structures have alluded as well. I think one of the things that they were looking, or that they tell me that they're looking at, what they say throughout all your business, if you go to the different organizations and you want to learn how to start a business, and you say, tell me how to start a business, they're going to say, write a business plan, get your financial projections together, and submit your go to the bank, and then sit down with the loan officer and submit your financial projections. And I was told several times by loan officers, listen, we don't care about that. How you going to pay this loan back? And I said, my projections, you see, I got this product. It's good. Da, da, da. We don't care about how you going to pay the loan back. And so I was so frustrated at one time with one of them. And she said, and I said, it just seems like you just want me to just get a job. And she was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Get a job.
Oh my, that was very
And
encouraging.
so how I had to finance my business, which was on the heels of I believed in myself and I was going to take a chance on myself, was at the height of the housing market. I sold my house
Oh, wow.
and I invested everything. So I am 100 and what do you say, 250% in this, and cannot leave until I make all that money back and buy me a new house. So I'm 100% invested. It's not, sometimes I feel like that wasn't, because I didn't know that the market was going to turn this way, that was not the wisest move that I could have made. But given all the financial constraints
Mhm.
and not wanting to lose out on a huge order, which ultimately put me into the retail space on the
Right.
store shelves, which is what I wanted, not wanting to miss out on that
Mhm.
opportunity. I took a gamble, I took a risk, I took a chance. Um, and it paid
And
off in little ways, but let's say the big piece of the pie, I
mhm.
haven't gotten that yet. So I'm still, trying to get that, but I do believe that it's coming. But I took a chance on it. At 55, I took a big,
And that's what it
yeah,
takes. That's what helps because the people when you read the biographies of people who have really become just super successful, it's about having that courage and not being afraid to step out and stand behind what you're doing and believe in it. And just the more you talk about it, the more you let people know. And the more that you believe and you never quit, you're going to succeed
yeah,
because if you just keep going, and I'm excited to share your story and to help you get the word out because
yes,
it is an important story. I think, especially for not just women, but for all of us. And so
yeah,
I'm rooting for you and anything that we can do in our network. And I would love you to join our 50 something network online
oh
uh,
yes,
to help get that information out there
yes,
because there's some very powerful women who who come into our group and they love to talk. They love
Oh,
to share and support each other. So I'll send you that after the podcast. I'll make sure you get that information.
oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Now, how in terms of what would you say would be your biggest success in the midst of growing everything? What would you say was your to date? What has been your most successful moment in getting this company off the ground? Even though we
I
know
s-
it's still off the ground. So,
yeah, I would say getting into retail, getting on the store shelves. We are on the store shelves in the Midwest and Meyer. And I'm
okay,
looking to get into other retail spaces. I think that's the biggest, um, that was a dream, that was a goal, and that has been accomplished. But now I know that I can't rest on just that alone. I need others. I need multiples of those. We're like 258 stores there, but
wow,
you need more. It just knowing the
right,
cost. This particular industry, in the food industry, the costs associated with getting there and being there are a lot different, and there are a lot
right,
of associated costs. So I haven't made the millions yet. We just on the store shelves. That's it.
right. But that's step one, and then you
Yeah.
just do. I just got a bunch of information on um, Amazon and how they are opening up to retailers and they're looking for minority businesses. So maybe I'll send you that information as well. Because if we could, I don't have a physical product as well. I sell
Mhm.
services and I publish books. But for those of us who do, I'll send out and I'll post that information so that you
That's
can take advantage of that. Now, tell us a little bit about your book. You wrote a book, and so for those of us who are trying to find out what this whole insulin resistance thing is about, what is the title of your
So the title of my book is Insulin Resistance Protocol. Actually, I don't have a copy of that here, but it's Insulin Resistance Protocol. And it's based on the fact that insulin resistance is the primary cause for all of the metabolic diseases that we experience. So that would be your high blood pressure, high blood sugar, diabetes is in that. That's your heart disease, PCOS, uh, uh, non-alcoholic fatty liver, obesity related diseases, high cholesterol. All of those diseases are related back to insulin resistance, and there's more, but those are like the core that make up the metabolic syndrome. And those diseases all are branches off of what you would call insulin resistance, and you have the
Mhm.
diseases that come off of that. So insulin resistance is the core, and if you deal with insulin resistance, and if you go Google insulin resistance, you're going to come up with high blood sugar. that's
Right.
that's where they mostly relate it to, but that's not all that insulin
Insulin
resistance
resistance.
affects.
Mhm.
So basically, insulin resistance, all of their cells have insulin receptors. And because all of your cells have insulin receptors, any one of those cells can shut down to receiving insulin. So the series of cells that shut down, if the series of cells that are shutting down are in your mitochondria and in your brain, that's Alzheimer's, you
Oh
see.
my.
So yeah, so you have, if it shuts down in your female system, that's going to you're going to land up with PCOS. So it just depends on where it shuts down. If it's in your circulatory system, there's your heart disease, there's your high cholesterol, there's your all of your high blood pressure. When it's dealing with, you have liver issues and they start to shut down there, you're going to end up with fatty liver. So all of your body is affected by insulin.
Right.
So you have to treat the insulin resistance, not just the blood sugar. Although blood sugar is like one of the number one things that's related to it, that's recognized. All
Right.
of the rest of the diseases stem from the insulin resistance as well.
That is so amazing. Definitely will put the link to your book in the comments. So those of you who want to learn more and make some changes in your, in the levels of sugar and the whole idea of not just the knowledge that it takes to really change how you eat and how you live in this world that's full of sugar. We will put the link to her book in the comments so you can connect there, and also the link to her website and where you can go and buy product.
Yes, thank you.
If a woman is thinking about this, just give her some encouraging words in terms of starting a business and uh, stepping out in courage and not letting fear keep her from doing it.
Do it. I mean, that is the thing. Just go ahead and do it. Sit down, count up the cost, make a plan, have a strategy, and then just go forward and start little bit by little bit. There are things around that if you're making something and somebody tells you that, hey, this is really good, you should probably sell this, go to a farmer's market and start there and just get you a table, sign up, and just sell at the farmer's market. So start small, try it and see what happens. And then don't be afraid to just go up to people and say, hey, I make a sweetener. I make a sugar-free product that tastes just like sugar. Are you willing to, would you be willing to try this? And then give a sample. Of course, this is not a sample, but but give a sample out or whatever it is that you make, and don't be afraid to approach people and ask them to try it. Give you feedback, not necessarily feedback from your family,
Right.
but feedback from people outside to give you encouragement. And then and don't be afraid if you're engaging with someone in conversation and they say, I don't like that, to ask them, what is it about it that you don't like? And take that feedback and go back and improve your product
Right.
and try it again.
Oh wow, those are such good tips on anyone who is thinking of uh, taking this journey as an entrepreneur. And that's what we're trying to do with these new series of interviews, is to help you if you are in the position to start your own business, and to bring powerful women like Teresa here, who has been giving us some great information today to help you in getting your business started if that's something that you're looking to do. And if you're already in business, you've given us some good tips on how to stay in business and not to give up and to continue to take this journey. It is well worth it. I love the freedom of being an entrepreneur. And that's the freedom. I've had it since in my late 30s. And it doesn't matter where you are. It's never too late to
Can I
be your own boss. Yes, right.
can I add one more thing? And if you do start your business, when that lady told me that I probably should get a job, she could have been saying to me, hire yourself, become an
Right,
employee of your business, and then that will give you the income. It changes the whole trajectory of how
right,
they view you as a business, how they view you, and how they view your business.
right.
And it took me years. It took me 27 or 26, in fact, to learn that.
Wow. Well, you just gave us something that's a lot of women from, just taking that and saying, oh, well, I'll just go get a job, because there's nothing wrong with employing yourself. And
Right.
even employing your children and your whole household. Uh,
Yes.
and I was like, our government actually gives you so many benefits for doing that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining the podcast.
Thank
I'm
you.
so excited about your product and whatever we can do at 50 something lifestyle to help you get the word out. We're here. Again, join our network. And I'm just looking for great things. And I'm also looking to get offline and go buy your product. And
Thank you.
and try it here in our home. I know. Just meeting you, I feel good about uh, placing that buy order because we
Thank
buy
you.
for people that we like and we trust, and
Yes.
you have that personality. So
Thank you. Go to
anyway,
sumsweet.com.
yes, 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 and we will put that information in the comments so that you can go to her website, you can go and buy her book, and if you want to just connect with Teresa, we'll have we can put your email in there if they want to
Yes,
correct. Yeah. And
absolutely.
we're just excited for what's going to happen in the future for all of us as we go into the second half of this year, as we get towards the end of the year and all the great things that can happen for
Yes.
you, your business, and for you and just your personal life. Thank
Thank
you
you.
again for joining me, Teresa, in this podcast. And for all you ladies out there, don't forget that you are living your best life right now.
Yes.
Don't let it go. Don't let it slip away from you. Do what your heart is telling you to do. Have the courage to do it. And if you don't, hook up with someone who can help you get it. There are a lot of mentors out there, and we are all happy to help you create that excellent lifestyle that you're looking to create in your 50s. So thank you, Trish.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Hope you are enjoying your Coffee with Cheryl podcast. I know it is a privilege for me to be able to offer this podcast to you at no cost and being able to share some of the amazing women who I've had on and interviewed over the last season and starting this season. I want to share with you that this season we are offering the Coffee with Cheryl coffee mug for those of you who would like to join us on these Mondays with your own Coffee with Cheryl coffee mug. It says, "Don't talk to me until I've had my coffee with Cheryl." And we are offering these to you at cost. So you'll be able to get your coffee mug personalized, but don't talk to me until I've had my coffee with Cheryl. And if you'd like to purchase one of these, you can go to my website, 50somethinglifestyle.com/podcast, and then click on the link to be able to buy your mug. The cost includes shipping and taxes. So $25 for your Coffee with Cheryl mug. And I hope you will join me on bi-weekly for the chats with women over 50, and sometimes I just share what's on my heart with you and just have a good time chatting together on these Monday mornings. Hope you have a great, great rest of your day. And if you want to get your own coffee mug, please go to 50something.com, 50somethinglifestyle.com/podcast. Hope you have a great day.